time to strap in and get ready.
The leaders in NRL Supercoach are incoming. Bringing you the ultimate insight to help you win your leagues and climb up the rankings.
You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Mattrix, and Whisperer.
Hello and welcome to the Inside NRL Show. It's TLT for round 26, and the show, as always, is brought to you by the Standard Squeeze and Ryan from Astute Newstead. Look, you guys all know me as the Mattrix, but this stranger here, little Whisperer, Josh, where have you been?
Hello, my friend. I've been here, there, and everywhere. Been about. Literally just got off a plane about an hour ago. Found out that it was just you and I recording tonight. I'd be lying if I said I want to be here, but yeah, definitely good to be back. We're in the mix. What a week to come back, because Teamless Tuesday was pretty wild this week. A lot of people have no trades and they're relying on a lot of bench fodder to play this week, so it's going to be an interesting show. Yeah,
mate. I just as the number one Joey Lussick podcast in Australia, I'd just like to let everybody know that my starting hooker is Joey Lussick. So, yeah, currently enjoying. I can't wait to get his 3 on the weekend. But look, drop your questions below. We'll try and be positive about TLT. We can't answer all the questions, but we will answer the best ones. So make them good, get them in. Subscribe, like, follow, review. Mate, I know that you've had some pretty big scores and you've probably missed 3 or 4 weeks with us. Do you want to give us a small recap? I know that I'm just throwing you in on this, but how's your team been going?
It's actually been going okay. We've somehow nearly managed to get the rank under 5 figures. So I think we're sitting at 10,040, which, look, not great if you're doing a podcast, let's be real, but it's a whole lot better than what it was at the start of the year. I think when I left you guys, I was in and around 21,000th. But just, yeah, looking at some of the scores from recent weeks, we'll probably run the last, let's say the last 6 weeks. So I've gone a 1263, a 1349, 1311, 1431, 1459. So, yeah, obviously averaging about 1350 over the last 6 weeks, which is great. Going early on Turbo, you know, I was saying it since about round 12. It definitely paid off for me. Cleary going down kind of sucked. Obviously, I was in the chat on Sunday night with you guys. I decided to go pod and jump on Ben Hunt for my Cleary replacement, which, you know, Luai did fuck all. Cherry Evans did fuck all. It was only really Matt Burton that hurt, I guess, owners there. Apart from that, when Kale Ero he was out last week, I traded in a Lomax, and that went well. You know, Lomax got 95 last week, and then we got 74 this week, so that's been a net positive. And apart from that, just sort of chugging along a little bit. Yeah, I'm just looking at my team, definitely held together by my 2 fullbacks, in Tedesco and Travojevic. And yeah, that's really about it. I'm looking at my team this week. It's kind of grim. I have to play Brendan Hands. I have to play Jack DeBella. And I have to play Josh Adokar. So it's we're in struggle street, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, look, I've sort of floated in and out, like fluctuated up 1,000 here, down, 500. I'm in just above that 4,000 at the moment after rising a massive 14 spots this week. I tell you what, 1405 is the definition of mid. But it's not all grim. Everybody's complaining about their teams, and it's just hooker where I'm struggling with the Appy and Lussick. But I've been knowing this is coming for a while. Cam Munster, the gift from the gods, he has done absolutely sweet FA for me since I've owned him, and is probably a genuine vice captain option. We'll have a chat about that. But look, yeah, I've got to play Asako against the Broncos, and I've been sitting him a couple of weeks. Not the end of the world. Blokes like Tungo didn't get named, so that's 1 AE. Like Willison's playing. It's not all bad for me, but I will rip my one trade this week. And a little bit spicy. I might try and. I'd planned on not trading at hooker and just copying Lussick's 10. But I might end up accidentally. I just might end up holding Cleary till the rest of the year and just playing Dilbo. So yeah,
Yeah, halfback's kind of grim. Like, there's no one really standing out. I mean, there's reports that Nico could be back, but then it's like Nico with Braden Trindle. It's like, is it really worth picking up? I don't know. But yeah, definitely one to monitor. But just back on my rank, I'm having a quick look at my graph. Now, if I told you since round 6, I've had 2 red arrows, basically from round 6 to 26, you must think I'm flying. I have just been the mediocrity of just like 1,000 spots here, 1,000 spots there. It's just been a very, very slow chip away. It's actually quite embarrassing that I've gone 20 weeks or 18 green arrows out of 20, and I've literally not even into the top 10K. But back to halfbacks. It's like halfbacks really shit. Apart from Nathan Cleary and Nico Hines,
and Jerome Hughes.
And Jerome Hughes this year, of course, because Munster has been out most of the year. But like, it's just been grim. Like, I'm just looking at like averages for the season, and we've got 4 people over 70, and one of them is Jamie Humphries, which doesn't count. So we've literally only got 3 people above 70 average for a premier position. A lot of people over 60, but like, that's just whatever. Like, a lot of positions are over 60. So halfback's been kind of grim.
Look, I love talking about halfbacks, but back to your team. If you had to liken it to an NRL player this year, what would it be? Because I'm thinking of players like Morgan Smithies and Kai Pearce-Paul, but
like doing a job, but just not good.
yeah.
Like, just being a number. Like, you are just round 1 to 7 Denny Levi. Kind of shit. Okay, doing the job, but you don't want to like look at it for much longer.
You haven't had like that massive, like, quite often, like, you see these teams that are 10,000th. You haven't had that ripping week where like you're like top 1% or anything like that, which like you've kind of played it safe.
I really think that comes down to team structure. Like, I don't have many like super pods. Like, I had Mike Acevo, which went well for 2 weeks until he got dropped. But apart from that, like, I haven't had many like super pods that have like, so when I've done well, which has been actually most weeks, like I said, I've had 18 green arrows out of 20. It's been like everyone else has done well. And like, I'm just looking at my season rank. Let's see if we look at round rank, I've had since round 7, my best round rank has been round 17, where I came 3,000th in the rank. So like, I haven't even like had like exceptional, like a lot of them have been inside the top 10K, but like you said, they've never been like a top 100 finish. Like, if I go back to 2000, obviously this episode, by the way, is not going to be overly structured. There's not a whole lot to talk about. But if I go back to like 2022, for example, which was like the year I came 100th or whatever, I had back-to-back weeks inside the top 500, which is going to obviously absolutely skyrocket your rank. And like, my worst rank on the season was like 40K for the round, which is like very good for the whole season. But yeah, this year it's been a case of like, team's been okay, just not enough pods to stand out. And as we know, like, the start of the season was so fucked because we were all just chasing our tail with premiums because none of them fired in the first 5 rounds. And then the ones that did fire were the ones that I traded out, and so be it. But definitely some things to look at next year. We'll have a lot of strategy talk in the off season and heading into the preseason about team structures. And we can probably use my team as a good example of putting up good scores but not making good ground in ranks, because of when you go well, everyone else goes well.
Yep. Oh, I rate it. I think we'll duck into the injuries. Hey, mate, do you want to take us through the HIAs this week?
Yes. Tyson Frizzell picked up a HIA, so yeah, obviously nothing him. Same with Nikorima, Bromwich, and RTS. Obviously, RTS's season being over because the Waz do have the bye in round 27. Obviously controversial. You guys were chatting about it on Sunday with the Stephen Crichton thing. Look, should have been a sin bin. It just should have been. Like, obviously, it's not the gross. It's not the grossest hit in the world, but like, fuck, I've seen a lot less be sin binned.
Yeah, and we've seen it that weekend, I suppose, which hurts. But look, he's copping it now. He's missing this week when Canterbury need him. But look, we touched on that a lot on Sunday. Joseph Sualihi, look, out with that neck injury, looked pretty bad. Hopefully see him back soon. And Brandon Smith out with the calf, mate. No, he's back this week.
He's back this
He
week. Was
had
out last
had
week?
that
Not
calf
last week.
injury. Yep.
Yes. We see Bradman. Bradman Best. We see AJ Brimson. He's gone for the season. Obviously, was being battled with injuries all season, but came back last week and has now been sent for groin surgery. So he's done for the season. Kai Pierce-Paul had that absolutely horrific leg laceration. That looked absolutely grim. That was not good. Thomas McKelly with a hamstring. And then just a bunch of filler and Adam Pompey, Shaq Mitchell, and Kurt Mann. If you guys are relying on them in round 26, you're doing worse than me. So have a good long look at yourself if you're relying on Shaq Mitchell.
Let's just head straight into the game. So there actually wasn't that many injuries this week. And as always, our weekly preview is brought to you by Ryan from Astute Newstead. If your rates are above 6.2%, you want to buy a home, maybe just refinance the one you've got or do some renovations. Look, even if you just want to save some money like the rest of us, that's why I'm going through him at the moment. Look, reach out to him, get an obligation and cost-free inquiry. Look, let him know that we got you in touch with him. He's been absolutely phenomenal with my house, and I'll be using him again. This week is your Tigers on the bye, which is actually quite Supercoach relevant. But we planned ahead and knew it was coming, didn't we? Yeah,
of course. I mean, so we're missing Sammy Fainu, we're missing Api Coruscant, and Lockie Galvin. They're probably the only three that have any relevance. Obviously, we pick up the 2 points. Doesn't matter if Parramatta win or lose. If Parramatta lose this week, we got 18 points. They got a 16. They still have a better points difference than us for that elusive spoon bowl. Unless the Eels lose by about 70 points this week against the Dragons, we'll be playing off for the spoon next week against the Eels, which would be great. But shouldn't take us by surprise. Also, the first game of the round, the Cowboys and the Storm, this really shouldn't take us by surprise because we sort of heard these reports, 8 weeks ago that Melbourne were looking at resting their players in 26, and we see the Cowboys at full strength at the Storm. Eli Katoa, Harry Grant, Jack Howarth, Jerome Hughes, Nelson Asafa-Solomona, Sean Bloor, Tui Kamakamika, Will Warbrick all have been rested. Obviously, Cameron Munster and Ryan Pappenhausen have both been named. Look, may get a rest next week, may not. Munster maybe just gets the matches because he needs them. Pappy may get rested, may not. But all these guys are relevant. Eli Katoa, one of the best 2RFs this year. Harry Grant still, premium hooker despite being poor for his usual self. Jerome Hughes, one of the standout options at halfback. Sean Bloor has been a great sort of mid-ranger all season. It just really, really hurts for a lot of teams, especially coming into their grand final. Supercoach in years gone past has been head-to-head grand finals in round 27 to stop all this resting, but the Storm have pushed it a week earlier, and a lot of teams are hit hard, mate, myself included. Not that I am in any head-to-head grand finals, but I have Harry Grant, Harry Grant and Eli Katoa both in my side. So, definitely having to field some numbers, but there's going to be people out there with, way more than me. A lot of people may have Katoa, Grant, Hughes, maybe still carrying a Sean Bloor as well. So they could have 4 or 5 out.
I'm surprised that Jack Howarth gets a rest, but this just teaches us that Craig Bellamy does not give a fuck about your Supercoach team.
No, absolutely not. He does not care. As for the Cowboys, though, they are full strength. They do have a little bit to play for. They're currently on 32 points, and the Bulldogs are on 34. And with the points difference, they're going to have to win by 50 and the Bulldogs have to lose by 50. But they're playing to stay in that top bracket of the bottom 8 teams, mainly on 31 points. So if they can get the win over the Storm, then, it still gives them that cushion to finish in 6th compared to 7th. But, this one's sort of a dead rubber for the Storm. They've got that minor premiership locked up. They're clear by far out. They're clear by 6 points, so they can lose this week and next week and still wrap up the minor premiership. So this one's really for the Cowboys to play, but Val's back, which is great. They were on the bye last week. I know a lot of teams were hurting without him. We've got a couple of questions about Val in the chat that we can get to at the end of the episode. Game 2, the Dogs.
I think if you've got any of the Cowboys, it's going to be a really good matchup against the Storm reserve grade team. You see that.
I wouldn't be looking at the fixtures and seeing Melbourne in a red, being they're a fantastic defensive team. They've conceded the third least amount of points in the comp this year. look, this week will probably be a little bit different. Like Bellamy's sides are always still structured, but yeah, when you're missing some big guns there, it might be a matchup to target if you've got a couple of Cowboys assets.
Correct. Takes to game 2, mate.
Yes, the high-flying Bulldogs up against the Manly Sea Eagles. Stephen Crichton, as we said before, was suspended. Josh Curran coming off the bench, and Tommy Talau is in with Tolo Kola on the bench of the Sea Eagles. Not too much changing here for the Manly side. Obviously, Tom Trbojevic coming up against the best defense in the NRL. It really is a question now in captaincy, and we can touch on him. There are some good matchups this week, but they're late in the week. And there is persisting rumors of a certain Sydney side resting some players. But, if Tedesco is pushing for a Dally M, then he'll probably want to play as much as possible. But, not a great matchup for Manly. We saw them some bottle it against
defense.
Hey, what was that?
With Crichton being out, does that affect the Bulldogs' defense maybe, from top tier to out a little bit? I know it's hard to say with a centre, but has sort of been the Bulldogs' heart and soul defensively.
Yeah, look, I think one player out, he's not going to make a huge difference. They're probably going to try and target that edge. They've got Karaz now in centres with Skelton on the wing, and Skelton notoriously isn't the greatest defender. So I still think there will be avenues for Turbo to attack. It's just a case of can those middles set the platform in your likes of Paseka and Nathan Brown and Hamala Olakau'atu out of form. They're going to need him to step up and really lay that platform if you do want to capitalize on Turbo, who has just come off the back of a 160 against the Tigers. So definitely in hot form, but I'm going to be watching this one with close eyes. I don't have any Bulldogs assets, and I've got Addo-Carr, that's about it, and Trbojevic obviously is my main one there. But yeah, this game's pretty self-explanatory what it says on the tin. It's a pretty big game for both sides as well, with good ladder implications. We see Manly on 31 points. Manly have secured their spot in the 8, but they're now playing for, I think, home field advantage. I think the way the new format works, it's 1v4, 2v3, 5v8, and 6v7. So if you finish in 6th, you'll get a home field advantage. And Manly currently in 7th, but needing to win to jump over those Cowboys who are playing Melbourne. So definitely a viable chance there. And the Bulldogs, they're playing to keep home field advantage as well. They're in 5th. They can push to 4th. They're 2 points behind Penrith. They do have a slightly worse for and against. They're 12 points behind in for and against. So there definitely is still stuff to play for in this match. So expect both teams to be playing with not full intensity, but, it's definitely not going to be a dead rubber.
No, 100%. Another one now with the Panthers, I suppose, dropping a couple with Cleary out. Panthers versus the Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs not really having much to play for except for pride. But where I thought maybe some Panthers might start to get rested this week and next week, probably not just yet. We're seeing Cody Walker back. We're seeing Dean Hawkins out. Look, some people held Cody Walker through. And the big one is Alamotti in for Casey McLean, who will probably goal kick. But the big thing is Casey McLean out, because on some of these weeks where you need in form, I'm not going to call him a scrub, but I'm going to call him a scrub. You got him in for 200K. He was somebody that, might have pulled you out of a pinch here. But yeah, even with Schneider keeping his spot, I'm not even that interested in Jerome Luai, especially after what I saw last week.
No, I hate Case McLean with a passion. I bought him ages ago and never ever played him. He just sat there, and I was like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna play him. And I played him last week, and he got a 20, and it was like his lowest score of the season. So it's like whatever. As for Souths, yeah, Cody Walker's back, then Hawkins is out, and news from tonight: Cam Murray failed to get his charge overturned, so he's now out for 3 games. So he'll miss this week, next week, and then I don't know if they're going to try and use one of the fucking preseason games next year as a suspension. Okay. Otherwise, he'll be out for round 1 next year. But I think they'll just use the preseason games as suspension. Souths, nothing to play for. They cannot make the spoon, even if the Eels win this week, and the Tigers win the week after. Like, South can't finish any worse than 15th. They can get as high as 13th, but it's like 16th, 13th is like whatever for them. So it's a case of just playing for nothing. Panthers plan to keep their spot in the top 4. They have to win out to hold their spot. They can still finish second, but they're going to need a lot to go their way. They're going to need the Roosters and the Sharks to drop points. But, just playing for a top 4 spot and trying to get some home finals footy. But Alamotti in, Snyder holds his spots. Sucks if you needed McLean for this week. I would have liked to have him, but I've got 17 now on the dot. So yeah, it sucks he's not playing, but definitely needed him. This next game, Eels versus Dragons. We have no notes for this one. Did anything change?
We have no notes for this one because nothing Supercoach relevant fucking happened. I suppose Jake Tongo didn't play. Luca Moretti comes back from that quad injury. And, just Rafe comes back in and comes onto the bench, which, cool.
This game means nothing for Parramatta. They can win or lose and still have that showdown against the Tigers next week for the Spoon. Doesn't matter because we have the bye. We'll pick up 18 points. They'll also pick up 18 if they win. If they pick up the loss, they'll be on 16, but a win against the Tigers would see them get the non-Spoon on 4 and against. Dragons currently in 8th, my friend. 2 points clear of your Broncos. With
and the Knights.
Yeah, I mean the Knights and your favorite team, the Dolphins, and everyone's least favorite team because they're boring, the Raiders. So there is still a bit of a fight.
I mean, the Dolphins are my least favorite team. Yeah,
there is still a fight for this 8th position. Look, I love seeing the Broncos get the job done last week against the Eels. They came back and kept the Spoon race still on. So I would love to see I'd love to see the Eels win this week and the Dragons drop points and then it just shakes it up. I'd love to see somehow. So what could happen? So the Dolphins are playing the Titans. The Dolphins are playing the Broncos this week. So one of you two will win and then they'll go to 28 points. And both you guys and the Dolphins have better for and against than the Dragons. So if the Dragons drop points, they're out of the 8. Pretty much as simple as that.
We still have to beat the Storm, but the problem is the Knights have the Titans into some other shit team. So I think that the Knights are probably the best chance of overturning the Dragons.
Wouldn't that be the biggest participation award if the Knights make the fucking top 8?
Oh, congratulations. You get to play for it. You don't get to go to Bali this week. You get to go the week after.
Yeah, you have to delay your flights. Whoever wins, whoever makes it will be playing the Bulldogs away from home, which is just not fun. Or at worst, they could play the Panthers if the Panthers slip out of the top 4. So it's like fucking whatever, like good luck. But there is still top 8 implications for this. The Dragons have to win. Parramatta can just do whatever they want. I don't care about Parramatta. And like you said, there's no notes in this game. I have 0 Supercoach carer in this game at all.
Yeah, let's head into the Dolphins versus the Broncos.
This is like, in terms of like ramifications, this is probably game of the round.
Yeah. And like knowing, talking to some people in the Broncos camp, they fucking hate the Dolphins. They wear the fact that they've never lost to the Dolphins like a badge of honor.
When you say you talk to people in the Broncos camp, are you just talking to yourself in the mirror?
Yeah. I'm just chatting. I'm just chatting to the book. I'm paying for paid sponsored ads. Paying for a swish from one of the Broncos every week just to throw things out there to say, hey, I've been talking to some guys in the Broncos camp. And yeah, here we are. Cost me $140 a week.
It's a good investment. But your boy Ben Takura, he's back testing you on the bench. And Payne Haas named in the reserves. Now, obviously, you and Brano mentioned this on Sunday that we could see, Walshy come back, Payne Haas come back. Like the whole band gets back together next week in the sort of do or die clash if they can get over the Titans this week. But it really is a do or die clash for you guys. If you lose, you stay on 26 points. The Titans go up to 28, and the Knights you would expect to go up to 28 as well. So it'd be basically season done for you guys. Especially if you lose and the Dragons win this week. So it's pretty much you got to run the table if you're the Broncos.
Yeah, you do. It's pretty hard playing Melbourne the week after, especially when they're going to have those guys back. But I do really hope that they're resting Munster and stuff, even if we just get another week. But big Supercoach implications and West Tigers faithful, Kobe Hetherington ruled out with that HIA from the week before. Some spud did the notes and forgot to mention him. But yeah, look, it's going to be a packed house. I unfortunately don't have tickets due to the fact that it is a Dolphins home game. But playing Jermaine Asako, I think running at Jesse Arthur's might not be the worst thing in the world.
No, that's fine. If you have a Sarko, mate, if you have a Sarko and you have the opportunity to bench him this week, then fuck, your team must be deep.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Thanks.
If I had a Sarko, I'm not. I'm not benching a Sarko. Not at this. Like this could be a high scoring game. This could be like a 30 to 24 kind of game.
I've sat Asako the last 2 weeks. So, yeah, so that's... And he's been shit. He got 20 last week.
Yeah.
So, that's probably why I'm mentioning it. But, yeah, not too much else going in. I might just mention the fact that TPJ is pissed in someone's boots, so he didn't get named. And JMK...
I was going to say, JMK has been named in the extended, which could be pretty big for them. But, yeah, obviously, matching up the number 22 jerseys, Jerry Marshall King and Payne Haas as well. So definitely interesting to see what happens. And I'm curious on who drops out for Payne Haas, whether it is the remnants of Martin Tapau or if it is Karapani. Like one of those will come out, but I hope it's Tapau because fuck him.
No, he's all right. He's been playing some good footy again. But yeah, I'm presuming Takura drops out. So, mate,
you reckon Takura drops out?
Yeah, I reckon Takura drops
over
out.
Karapani?
Oh,
interesting.
I mean, they've had Karapani there. Mate, Corey Pakes is in the extended bench too, and Tyson Smoothie's not named. So there's that. There's a lot going on.
You've got Cameron Smith here named at number 14, according to every Broncos fan.
That is not something I've ever said.
I've read it on Twitter multiple times. He's the new Cameron Smith, Blake Moser. So I've heard.
Mate, the guy looks like a giraffe. The guy looks like a giraffe with with a Supercoach wispy mustache.
Hey, nice. Yeah, I went to trim my neck up yesterday, and I went too high, and I was like, it's looking like a chin strap, so I just have to shave it all now. And I was like, I can't shave it all. I've got to do a Braino.
I would have loved a chin strap on you.
Oh mate, I actually when I first started growing facial hair when I was like 14, I could only grow a chin strap, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I look back at photos when I was like in year 7 and 8, and I looked like an absolute sex offender. Like I looked like I wouldn't be allowed near schools.
But you were 14, so
I still don't look like that now, but like for other reasons.
Yeah, 100%. The Sharks versus Warriors. Sean Johnson going back to his old club.
Oh yeah, what a great time that was for his career.
Yeah. That single-handedly destroyed it worse than injury. Look, Nico's named in the bench. We've mentioned it before. They've got that 4-forward bench. I am going to presume that Dan Atkinson would drop out or go to the bench if Nico come in.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Will Kennedy dropped and just put Nico at fullback, but I don't think that's going to happen. The Sharks are still playing for second spot on the ladder. Sharks are actually still playing to stay in the top 4. Like, there's no guarantees they make top 4. If they lose this week and lose next week, and the Broncos and the Bulldogs win, then they drop out of the 4. But they're still playing for second as well. So second through 5th is still quite condensed. So the Sharks need to win to try and secure some kind of home finals footy. I think it would depend on results around them, whether Nico plays or not. My expectations is he's been named in the extended. So, yeah.
Yep. No, all good. And a lot moving around with the Warriors. Tane Tuapiki named at fullback. C&K in the number 3, which I suppose is exciting because there's some guys asking about some draft questions for those that took my advice and have C&K there. Let's answer it now. He's saying Sailor or Sammy to replace C&K. I'm going to presume that Tane Tuapiki's there as well, but I don't really like the matchup. It's interesting.
Sammy. Ooh, hang on. Oh. So Sailor at fullback. What? I haven't actually
against the Dolphins.
Yeah, and where's Sammy playing? The centers?
Yeah.
Who are they playing? The Knights. Fuck, I don't know, man. I honestly think it's like a 5-point thing. I'll probably take Sailor for the upside if you need it.
Yeah, because it could be that 30 to 26 game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, look, perfect. Not much else. Luke Metcalf. I just haven't said his name yet.
No, I just want to highlight this. What happened to the spiral pass is taking shots at me about Gerald Skelton's defense. Mate, if you think he makes good defensive reads, then I have some magic beans to sell you. Feel free to hop into my DMs after this episode, and I'm happily to send you those ones.
I stopped listening for a second, but I have been playing a bit of touch too, and the spiral pass is gone. Like if I'm throwing a big one, it's the spiral pass. But everybody wants that little floaty things that's easier to catch.
A little
Just
Harvard Bridge
catch
one.
better.
Yeah.
You just catch better. I don't
Nothing
want
better
to.
than a 20-meter bullet, especially if you're playing mixed Oz tag and you've got like a chick on the wing. Just give her a bullet ball, send her over for a 2-point try. Elite stuff.
Yeah, exactly. She's clutching at a tit afterwards because you hit it with a massive spiral. So
goodness me. Game 7 of the week, the Knights versus the Titans. This one has some ramifications for the Newcastle Knights. Bradman Best is back after that hamstring debacle in Origin Game 3, and AJ Brimson, as we said, out for the season. I believe KPP has been named despite that very grim leg laceration. And whilst I'm stalling for time, my esteemed co-host has just opted to leave the podcast. So I'm going to check and make sure that KPP has been named, which he hasn't. His leg has been pretty cooked. I have been on a plane all day, so I don't know what teams look like. But yeah, no KPP either. So that one could take a hit to teams. However, we do get Dylan Lucas back in the edge. He's been great on the centers. He is a great Supercoach edge option. If you have him, you get him back in a better position for his scoring. And in a pretty good matchup against the Titans, where we just saw what's his name? Angus Crichton score 3 tries against this hapless Titan side.
Yeah, that's the Titans are just a phenomenal matchup for Supercoach now. And I am truly, truly jealous of Kalen Ponga owners this week.
Yeah, I think he's going to run rampant. And Jetty5337 says, Bradman Best is huge for Greg Marzu. I will 100% agree. You have a strike center. No disrespect to Dylan Lucas, great ball runner, not the most noted playmaker. So to have someone like Bradman Best in the side there to draw the attention of the winger and center, I think it's going to be great for Marzu. So if I had Marzu, I'm playing him with pretty high confidence this week.
Yeah, I'd play I would back myself against the Titans, actually.
Fuck yeah. As for the Titans, David Fafita put pen to paper and just said, thanks, guys. That'll do me. I'm done.
Like me going to get a beer, to be completely honest.
Yeah, he literally said he was that meme of the guy just like vanishing into nothing. The Homer Simpson meme, him just going into the bushes, signed his contract and then dipped. So yeah, definitely not starting with him next year. But I don't have the trades to trade him out this season. So let's hope he can do something against Brody Jones of all people.
I mean, I'm playing him this week. Of course you're playing him. He's at 800 grand. He could be a big play. I'd nearly slap the VC on him if it was later on in the round. And you probably could, because in the Roosters and the Raiders, if the Roosters are playing anyone, there is a genuine captain option in one James Tedesco, our Lord and Saviour.
I don't know if he's my Lord and Saviour, because I said this time last year that he was no longer a Supercoach option ever. So that went well. Good call by me. One of many. Round 8 of the week, as we said, Roosters versus Raiders. Connor Watson and Brandon Smith are back. Joseph Swali'i is out, and as is JWH for being a passenger and doing a whole lot of nothing. But yeah, man, the Roosters, they're the best attacking team in the comp by far. Like, it's not even close. And they're just putting teams to the absolute sword. They have scored a whopping 690 points over 22 games. Let me pull up my little calculator. If we go 690, we divide that one by 22. They're putting up 31 points a game.
They're the most likely to score 40 every week, aren't they? Which is phenomenal for Supercoach, and that's why I own so many. But Joey Manu and Dom Young, I'm off them. They cost me about 4 cash comps last week.
The Roosters are $3.75 to win the whole thing. I think that's overs.
I think so. They're a good team.
I think they're an unreal team. Like, I think the Bulldogs pose a tough matchup for the Panthers and the Storm. I just think the Roosters are so good attackingly. They're just very good. And obviously, yeah, like there's one team to stack up on, and it's Roosters assets. I've got too many to count. I'd love to have more, but who knows what happens in round 27. But the likes of Dom Young obviously faltered last week, but still averaging something like 81 points this season when he plays 80 minutes. So you take out the sin bin game and a game where he got a hamstring injury, he's averaging like 83, 84 points a game this season. It's just ridiculous. Teddy averaging 91.2. I think he's missed a game or two with HIA, like he went down early. Oh yeah, take out that Roosters game, that bloodbath game against the Bulldogs when Teddy had a HIA and Dom Young was sent off. Like Teddy's averaging something ridiculous, like 96 or 97 in non-injury affected games, and he's just absolutely unreal. Could have got him for like 540k at the start of the season, not at the start of the season, at some point this season, and now he's like 920.
Yeah, I mean, death taxes and having an armband on James Tedesco has been me this week. Last week's the only week it really burnt me. When I obviously couldn't put an armband on.
Yeah, you lost 20. Like that's the thing. People act like it was like a disaster. You lost 28 points. It's like, if your captain gets 130 and you lose, like whatever, like it happens. Like you lost by 28 points. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely putting the captaincy on him this week.
Yeah, and the Raiders are still the Raiders. My only concern with Joseph Tarpany is he spends too much time standing on the goalpost as Sam Walker lines up to kick. I'm more concerned with that than Ricky Roulette, to be honest.
Yeah, he might only get 80 points this week and not 100 in base power. Like Tarpany's been absolutely fucking unreal. Like shout out to Brain in the chat. Like that was one of his best calls in like round 10 or 11. And it always happens with Tarpany. It always happens with Tarpany that like between rounds 1 and 10, he is just Joe Offahengawi, and then in rounds 11 to 27, he becomes 2019 Payne Haas. Like it just every year it happens. Like, it's just ridiculous.
I own him every year. Pretty stoked. I might just get him to start the year next year. He's the new Payne Haas.
The new Payne Haas. That's a great call. As for the Raiders,
they're still the Raiders.
All right, that's the end of this week's preview for the games coming up.
Absolutely,
they're so boring.
Yeah,
they're actually like they're the most mid team. Like as a Raiders fan, it must suck because you're not shit, but you're not like good either. It's just like, oh, can't wait to watch my team win 18-16 or lose 18-16.
Yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely,
like you win by 2 or you lose by 2.
Yeah, let's just stop talking about the green machine. But let's just go into the squeeze of the week. If you're sick of breaking glass bottles, your beer going warm or your coffee going cold, the Standard Squeeze have everything you need to drink responsibly and conveniently. Look, you can use code IFS15. Still not too late, I don't think, to get some things for Father's Day, because that's an absolute rip snorter present. You can go get these that I've got all here in the back behind me, as well as your 4-in-1. I'm only not using my 4-in-1 now because I rushed out of work to make that basketball game that I just finished, and I was using it. Oh, we lost.
Oh, big sad.
Yeah. I broke my finger last week playing, so it was heavily strapped, but we finished high enough on the table that we do get another chop at the title. But yeah, look, get 15% off Standard Squeeze. I might even sneak in a little Standard Squeeze for next week for basketball, and drink it in the car park with the boys.
But the squeeze this week was the week got of dogs. Played Semi Fainu, had Kyle Ero, had Nickera, had Jerome Hughes, had Harry Grant, had Angus Crichton, Daniel Tupu, and Captain Turbo. Bloke probably scored like 1,800 points. Like, just what a team! How do you just have all those things click?
And like, I think there was a lot of teams that had that Ero, Nickera, Hughes, Harry, Gus, and Captain Turbo, but like probably being forced to play Fainu. Fantastic.
Yeah, this was Corey. I saw him in the chat on Sunday gloating hard, and to tell you what, I would be too if that was me. Absolutely unreal. Corey, let us know. I've been very much off my phone for the past couple of days. Let us know how close you were to number 1 spot this week. So I know you would have went fucking absolutely close, but let us know.
No, it was like 60 points.
Fuck, that's actually still a fair bit. Like, fuck.
Yeah,
that's still a lot for like number 1.
Yeah, I know.
In saying that, before we continue on, I don't want to go too early. but I do think we have a new Supercoach winner overall. I think it's going to be I think it'll take an all-time bed shitting from the bloke in first to not win, which is Blake from Bryce's Boys. He is 300 points clear with 2 rounds to go. It would take an almighty bed shit to not win this from here.
It would be like captaining Teddy and him getting sent off in 5 minutes.
No, what you do, like, I don't know, if you're Blake, you just have to pick the popular options. Like, even if you don't think Tedesco was the best captain option, like, I still feel like you've got to pick him.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to go with the crowd at this point, surely. But
but I think I think Pong is the best captain option this week. But you're right, Teddy.
And we've had a couple of questions about Pong, and we'll get to those shortly. But yeah, I mean, there's still a big tussle for like the other prizes. So sixth spot right now has 30,630 points. And second has 6,000.
Nick from the West Tigers. He's
Nick from the West Tigers with 30,630. And second is Team Extreme Chris, who has 30,689. So there's 59 points separating second to sixth. And like, it's not 50K, but this is still good prize money for finishing in the top 5. So definitely all to play for. Mark Barnes from the SC All Stars is definitely in the mix there as well. So, and I've had a chat to a couple of these guys in the top 10. And a lot of them have fucking no trades. So it's going to be a survival of the fittest in the run home.
Yeah, that stings a bit. Like, you'd just be, clutching, clenching.
Hoping that Brendan Hands can give you 40 points.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah,
mate,
I was going to say, Nick. I was gonna say Nick from the West Tigers is still leading our inside league by 180 points with 2 rounds to play. So it would take an all-time bed shitting from him not to take out our inside league as well. But hopefully for him, like, obviously as a member and a viewer and a supporter of the page, he can probably look. Nick, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think you can win it from here, but
you can get
I think you can definitely get second, and second I think is still 10K. So definitely a good payday. And I'll drop my PayPal details if you ever want to contribute to the awesome tips I gave you this season, which were fuck all.
Do as I say, not as I do. Mate, we've had a little bit of a new segment that we've brought in towards the end of the year. Maybe it's just because a lot of the trades have been gone. But we've kind of been rating some of the most traded in and most traded out players. I'm going to start with some of the most traded out because I think it'll be a little thumbs up, because out of the top 10 most traded out players, only one of them has been named this week. So it's basically just trading out people. Like, you're trading out Nathan Cleary. Cool. I get it. Absolute scenes. You're trading out Harry Grant. Are you holding him for next week? No?
If you have the trades, no. Like, because I think 1 week of Grant and 1 week of Brendan Hands or whoever your second hooker is versus 2 weeks of someone half decent, I'd take the 2 weeks of half decent. But it's a case of, like, do you have the trades? Like, I wouldn't use my last trade on trading out Harry Grant.
No. Unless you've got Joey Lussick as your second guy. Jerome Hughes, Appy Coruscant, Eli Katoa, Lockie Galvin, Casey McLean, Kai Pearce-Paul, and Samuel Afinu. They are all Finu to trade out.
They're all Finu to trade out. I mean, they're all not playing, and especially if you're pushing for rank, you need warm bodies. For me, as a man with no trades left, it's just like, cool. But same thing, I wouldn't be trading out Fainu if you have 1 trade left. Like, I'd do it if you got like 3 or 4, but because he's a fine play next week when everyone's going to be rested. The Tigers have to play their best team, so Fainu will be named next week.
The most brought in player this week, Jacob Little, 673K. I'm presuming that's with Appy and Grant. Like, what do you think about 670K Jacob Little?
I mean, Marnie shit the bed in the last 10 weeks. He was great, and now he's just been terrible. Grant is not playing. Appy is out. So it's like, fucking, who do we pick? Connor Watson's been put on the bench. So it's like, who do we pick? And everyone's going to Jacob Little. And sure, go for it. I think we were highlighting Jacob Little in the preseason as being a good sort of mid-range pod to start with. And none of us started with him, of course, as the trend of all of our season has been. I feel like if I bought Jacob Little for 700K, I would have to take 2 or 3 showers. Like I would just feel very dirty. In saying that though, I traded Nathan Cleary to Ben Hunt, and I have $400,000 sitting in my team that I cannot spend.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Brano actually suggested it to me on the phone today, but I have this JD 5337 issue that I either play Lussick or bring in Little.
Oh, bring in Little 100%. Lussick to get you like 6 points.
Yeah, and like the other option is Cop and AE. I mean, sure, or just trade Nathan Cleary to somebody, and unless it's Sam Walker, who's been underwhelming the last couple of weeks. He's the number 4 brought in player. I don't know who to bring in. Maybe a Matt Burton. He's the number 2 most brought in player, 645k. But it seems like he's like good for like 70, and then that's it. I know he scored 100 last week, but that's the first 100 all year.
Yeah.
Gus Crichton. I mean, people are rectifying the mistake of not owning Gus Crichton. Do you own Gus?
I do own Gus Crichton. I sold him before Origin because he had that weird spell where in like 6 weeks he was going to play 2 games, and I bought him back after, and I'm very thankful that I did.
Yep. People bringing in Nico Hines, 690k. That's going to be game time dependent, I would presume.
Do you bring him in if he plays?
Against New Zealand? Yeah.
Because there's no one else. I mean, you can buy my boy Ben Hunt, but like, I couldn't buy Luai. I couldn't buy DCE. Maybe DCE. I don't know. Probably not. So yeah, maybe you do just buy Luai, Hines for 690.
Jake Clifford?
He'd be a pod. Hines would be a fucking unreal pod.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I get putting Nico in, but my problem is like trading him out. Like, Hughes locking out is a big concern too. Like, if you're going Hughes to Nico, you can't change back if he doesn't get named because
that's the
Hughes
issue.
will lock out Thursday.
Yeah, that's the problem because Storm play first. But what you can do is if you have more than 2, if you have 2 trades or more, you can trade Hughes to Hines, not make your second trade, and then trade Hines to someone else. And it would still only cost you 1 trade. But yeah. I think JD makes a good thing in the chat here. Like Hines with Trindle ? Like I agree, but like, what other fucking halfbacks are there?
There aren't.
Like I said, if you want to buy Benjamin Hunt, join me on the bandwagon, on the pod bandwagon. Join me on the Grant Atkins hate express, who cost me a line break when he falconed himself and had to pull the play back.
Nico Hines with Trindle is going to outscore Ben fucking Hunt.
I don't know. I hope not.
You know what Brano was talking about on Sunday? Adam Reynolds, the last couple games.
Fuck, I love this time of the year because we start picking rogue as fuck people. Just be like you can go, okay?
What about Jake Clifford, the big red dog?
I actually don't hate Jake Clifford.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I don't hate Jake Clifford.
If it was round 6, I would own him.
Yeah, not a great matchup this week. What about your boy?
Reno?
No, other one, Mr. Metcalf.
No, well, they don't play round 27. That's the problem.
I forgot about that. Don't worry about me. This is why my rank isn't on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this has turned into halfback chat, and there is none. Like,
no, it's really not. Like, as much as I joke about it, there is Benjamin, there is Daly, there is Sam. Notice a common trend here, all Queenslanders. There is Jerome Luai, and that's about it. I mean, Legless, unfortunately, isn't a halfback. But if you have the duels, then Dearden could be a good punt. Again, not the greatest matchup this week, but if you can get through it, then fantastic. But Matt, yeah, it's kind of honestly buy a dartboard, throw a dart at it, and whichever one hits, pick, because I don't think there's going to be much between them in terms of like expected points.
Adam Reynolds went up 69k last week. He's 450k last week.
Good price.
Zach Lomax, Reece Robson, Isaiah Yeo, Val Holmes, and Joey Taps. People are getting these guns because it's their last trade, correct? I actually like I don't have Val. I actually really like Val this week against Melbourne.
Yeah, so do I. I think I'm tempted to stick a vice captaincy on him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's obviously the first game of the round, which is perfect. But look, we've chatted about most of these guys. Reece Robson seems to be the only hooker outside of Jacob Little, and that leaves a bad aftertaste in my mouth too.
I just want to highlight this comment from Agent Cheese. He said, nothing like a late nights with two good-looking fellas. He must have a second screen. I was going to say, he must have a second screen up because it's not us two.
What pub's he at?
I'll tell you what I do want to get into, though. I want to get into our pod watch because I think I found a decent one.
Let's do it. Yeah, I don't know if we have a soundbite for this, but what do you got?
I don't think we do. My last pick back in round 6 when I was last on this podcast, whenever the fuck I was last on, was Brian Kelly. And since then, he's been going, okay, I'm going to pick another Titans player. Now, in the top 1% of teams, this player is owned by one person in the top 1%. 469K. NRL's top try scorer this season, Lofi Khan Pereira. I know everyone's got good center wings, but like, mate, Lofi looking unreal.
Yeah. He gets good meters. He scores tries. Yeah, I don't hate it.
469K.
Whew.
Also, I'll tell you who I don't hate. Nat Butcher. 470K.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Not sexy at all, but like, don't hate it.
It definitely is. So we're going less than 10% players.
I've got 0.1%. Go on UberPod. To be honest, to be honest, I sorted by anti-ownership and then stopped when I saw Lofi Khan Pereira. I was like, fuck it, he'll do.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing with the last pick, but it could be like, I'm presuming you've got money in the bank, but I wonder if you think that Tedesco or you think that one of those guys are going to be rested. Ponga is the...
You're playing a dangerous game though, aren't you? Like, Ponga's locked in for both games because the Knights are sort of... They've got to win both games, so he's going to play. But it's like, fuck, it's ballsy to sell Tedesco on the basis that you think he's rested next week.
Or Turbo on the basis that you think like Canterbury's a great defensive team.
Yeah, I don't think Turbo gets rested because he's in Dally M consideration, as is Turbo. Sorry, as is Teddy. But yeah, it's like if you think that 2 weeks of KP can outscore 2 weeks of Turbo, and I think he could. If I had the trades, I'd sell. If I had the trades, I would sell Travojevic to Ponga.
If you had one trade?
Yeah, even if I had one trade, I'd still do it.
Over Cleary to anyone else?
Yeah, because halfback's just whatever. Like
what if you had Appy Coruscant and you had Lussick on the bench?
Then no.
Asking for a friend.
No. I would because I think the difference between KP scoring 120 and Turbo scoring 70 is what 50 points.
Yeah.
But like the difference between Lussick scoring you fucking 3 points is like fucked. So I would fix up if I had Lussick as my hooker one this week. Yeah, I'd do whatever I can to move heaven and earth to get him. But other than that, man, like, yeah, I wouldn't prioritize halfback this week. I would definitely look at getting in KP if I didn't have him for Turbo.
Yeah, it's KP. It's maybe having a dart throw at a Dylan Edwards as well.
Yeah, if he's
up 10% now.
Yeah. JD says Turbo 2021, 7 out of 15 games over 150, and 3 of those 4 over 200 against Melbourne and Penrith. He only scored 60-ish and 80-ish. I'm going to be honest, I stopped reading after 2021 because as we've known now from 3 years of data onwards, it's just a historical anomaly. It's just not going to happen. Nothing can be repeated that in that sense. I was actually looking at betting trends from 2021, and if you backed the overs in every single match, you made something like 74% ROI. Which is absolutely ridiculous, considering the maximum you can make is like 91% ROI. So like 2021 is just an anomaly. I wouldn't be using any data from those years to look at your trades, but I definitely would be looking at this year's data, which suggests the Bulldogs are a great defensive team. Although they do have holes in their attack. Like I said, I don't rate Skelton as a defender, and they have Carraz now playing out of position in the centres. I don't know. I feel like I would prioritize fixing up hooker, and then I would try and get KP in. I would just leave halfback. If I have one trade, I'm just leaving halfback because no one sticks out to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Halfback's dead. I'm going to finish the year with Nathan Cleary sitting on the bench. Holy fuck.
What's happened?
Reed Marnie is 370k.
Bro, dude has tanked. Dude was like the best hooker for like 20 weeks, and then Brono bought him, and then he just turned back into arse Reed money.
Oh, he's got a 3-round average of 32, a 5-round average of 35.
Dude had a fucking 5-round average of like 70, like, and he held that for like 12 weeks.
6
and
weeks ago.
Arse.
Yeah.
Now he's just putrid. I don't know what happened to him.
To put that into perspective, Joey Lussick is 200. Is that 100k less? Brendan Hands is 40k less.
I'm not buying Reed Marnie. I don't care if he was 204k. I don't care if he was bottom dollar cheapie.
I'm not finishing the year with $1 million.
Harry Grant to Reed Marnie is just the most putrid of trades of all time. Mate, it's 11:15. I reckon we try and wrap this up as quick as possible. Let's move in to the captaincy call.
Yeah, let's do it. I didn't have the stinger ready. But let's just talk. It wasn't quick enough. But yeah, look, let's. Fucking Brandon's got all these messed up.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
This podcast has been a train wreck. I'm sick. I don't want to do it, and I'm. It's late, but let's finish this up. Cowboys versus Storm, mate. Like I said, I don't mind Val as an option in this one. I think you could target Val for a VC, running up against incomplete edge. You know, new second rower, new winger. I don't hate Val as a VC at all.
No, big fan. Having a look at those Cowboys. I mean, why are you holding Scotty Drinkwater? But if you had Scotty Drinkwater, he would be right as well. And I also don't mind Munster with Wishart being named in the 9. I just think Munster is going to have his hands on a lot of ball. And I'm talking vice captain. Like, if he tanks, if he gets 60, then fucking fantastic. You've wasted your vice captain on a Thursday night. We do that every week, so I don't mind that. Turbo against the Dogs, I mean, sure, Deadwoods or To'o or somebody like that, that's fantastic. But the thing is, I want to captain a fullback, and that takes Turbo and Deadwoods and blokes like that out of contention for me.
Yeah, I think all eyes point towards the last game of the round. So I'm not touching any fullbacks. Eels versus Dragons, definitely could look at Zach Lomax here against his new future club. But yeah, I'm probably not loving him over a Val or even like another asset that you could look at. Like you could look at Cherry Evans against the Bulldogs if you really want to take a punt. But yeah, I mean, there's no real obvious stand-up captains here apart from a KP against the Titans. And then obviously, yeah, all roads lead to James Tedesco against the Raiders. I know it's very boring, but at this point of the year, captaincy isn't somewhere where you want to make up ground. You can make up enough ground from your pods in your other parts of your team, than not going with Tedesco, who is like absolutely the hottest form of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to bet against Tedesco. I think he is going to get my captain. Just going to slap it on Munster versus the Cowboys, to be honest, because I don't own Val. If I own Val, absolutely.
Tedesco is currently ranking 4th for 3-round average with 102.3. Travojevic is 1, Latrell Mitchell is 2, and Valentine Holmes is 3. When we move to 5-round average as well, Teddy's also averaging 93.2. Up against the Raiders side, who have definitely slipped off a little bit. Like they've played well, they've played poor in patches, but the way this Roosters attack is humming, I'm definitely wanting to attack those fixtures as well.
Mate, I'm also thinking bedtime here, but there's not too many questions that we haven't really answered.
NFL Maverick, obviously the NFL correspondent for the Insight Fantasy community. He wants to know how my NFL fantasy team's doing. Mate, I don't know if you saw in the chat, but Maverick ran all of our teams through his little Fantasy Pros AI, and this guy ranked numero uno for power rankings. So let's see how that one finishes.
I can't hear you. I mean, I was second on the list, so thanks for that.
Shout out to Horse, who was last and he's tanking in a redraft. So shout out to the Seahorse.
So it's a one tight end lead. The 3 tight ends taken in a row just really did it for me.
Good strat. Brain, like guys, long time listener, first time caller. Hughes to Nico or Katoa to Yo. Fuck.
Hughes to Nico.
Yeah,
Hughes to Nico.
Hughes to. I wouldn't be going Katoa to Yo because I'm just terrified that Yo's just rested next week if Penrith's place is like sewn up where they're going to finish. So I don't hate Hughes to Nico for a bit of vibes and just making sure you've got one trade in the bank, obviously, Braino, because then you can reverse to Sam Walker or something if you have to. But yeah, hopefully you do okay. Hopefully you do okay, my friend. I'm not too okay. Justin Column says trade in Val or Lomax this week. Fuck Val, just because I prefer him as a vice captain. So he plays first game of the round against, like I said, a new look Storm Edge.
But Lomax is playing the Titans.
Parramatta.
And another dogshit defensively team.
They're playing the Parramatta this week.
Yeah, Parramatta and then the Titans, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 dogshit teams. But I just like Val. I just prefer Val.
Yep.
T-Bone says Iro to Holmes.
I can play Iro.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't waste a trade on that. Iro's just been absolutely fantastic. Adam S says run 16 with no hooker, free loop. We'll trade for 17. Can watch home to VC finish, then decide trades from there. Can go Cleary, Bostock, and Humphreys to Burton, Lomax, and why the fuck do you have a boost left? What is this? Or hold hook
trade for 17, please.
No, depends. I mean, if Val as your VC flops, then just run 16. But if Val goes great, then you get a free loop, and I'd definitely be taking 17 then. So, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Just play it out by ear, get a look at the first game, and then make your trades based off that.
Cool.
JDS says Teba Ponga, we have established that is a good trade if you have no other pressing issues. Scotty Dub, we've already answered this one. Legless Goanna wants to know, are you on the Little Creatures tonight, mate?
Yeah, I'm on the Little Creatures XPA. I know it's like super popular.
Okay. What do you live in fucking Brunswick, you hipster? Fuck me.
Yeah, I know. Like, I drink my tea like this. And yeah, look, I'm on the XPAs, which is great for a Tuesday night. A little bit fruity, 2 and 5. You've got to have your fruit and veg. And I know that the pale ales are just super popular with these, but unpopular opinion, the XPA is a better drop. And everybody knows I'm a tinny man. Like those.
What is
those
the
stubbies,
XPA?
Extra.
Extra pale ale.
Yeah.
Not just regular pale ale.
No. That's extra with an X.
All right, my friend. Well, then it's extra time for me to go to bed.
Sounds good, man. Look, good to have you back again. Chance of seeing you in the next couple of weeks?
Definitely see me Sunday. And then maybe Tuesday. I might be off to Sydney for a week, but we'll see. I don't really want to go.
Yeah, cool. I think I'm doing NBL on Sunday, so maybe you and Braino will finish off Sunday. And
definitely.
Yeah. Thanks. Good to have you back. And you've listened to an Insight Fantasy Sports podcast. Cheerio.